Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit freedomlovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. freedomlovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and all United States.FM network. As you can hear from the sounds or the background noises, I am not in my regular studio, but I am exactly in my kitchen. Yes, I'm broadcasting right now this segment of the show, exactly the third hour of Love, Guns, and Freedom from my kitchen. I have a friend of mine, a Facebook friend, also in real life. He's an activist guy, met him a long time ago. His name is Michael from Kingman, used to be in Golden Valley, if I will remember. He asked me, hey, Luca, what can you give me as a tips, like how to cook, for example, some basic classic pasta recipes? I say, wow, that's great. I enjoy doing that. And also, it's part of the show, the third hour on Love, Guns, and Freedom. What I like to do, I like to share things to just enjoy life. Because after all, that's the idea. Otherwise, we go crazy here. So anyway, today's recipe is going to be something kind of back to the roots, okay? Pasta. In this case, I will cook today spaghetti with tomato. In this case, I will have fresh tomatoes and basil, okay? And so here we start. Now, just to let you know, before we start, I always say the most important ingredient in the cooking, in good cooking, is love. Love and enjoying what you're doing. So I always start with a little bit of glass of a red wine, just to put myself in the mood. And when I start cooking, this is my little kingdom, okay? I don't believe in kings, but this is my kingdom, okay? And I let out all the stress, I let out all the pain and misery, all these bastard evils like Obama and the Clintons and the Bushes and all these other, parasites. All out. I'm here, I'm happy. Today I have something that nobody can steal from me, at least till I'm alive. I got this beautiful organic spaghetti. I have these beautiful organic tomatoes and basil that I grow and some garlic. And I'll tell you the rest of the ingredients that I'm going to transform in something very delicious and enjoyable. And that's, after all, it's the basic. How to be happy. Back to basic things. Now, let me start with this little sip. I have this organic red wine from California. One of the few decent things they still have there. Feel sorry for you guys, though. I'm not trying to put you down, but that's the reality, unfortunately. Now, what do we have today? First of all, for the tomato, I have about 5 big, beautiful, ripe tomatoes, organic. I didn't grow this one. Normally, I like to grow them, but this summer has been kind of crazy. So I have tomato that I bought, okay? And they are tomato that they are organic. That's important. Why I'm so stressful about that, or somehow I stress this out so much. Unfortunately, this is not just the typical regular tomato you could buy maybe 30, 40 years ago. There's a lot of things going on. A new type of pesticides that I don't want to lecture you now, but if I say Monsanto or Roundup, terrible for you, okay? So I like to buy stuff, if it's possible, without this type of poison, okay? So what I do, since I'm using them fresh, okay? And by the way, you can also do the variation with a canned tomato, and we will go there maybe another time. Today I have fresh tomato, about 4 or 5 big ripe tomato. I need to peel them off, okay? You need to remove the peel. Otherwise, you're not going to have a good flavor. When you eat the sauce, if you cook and chop the tomatoes without peeling them off, you're going to have a lot of pieces of skin. It's going to be kind of not really good, okay? So what we do, I get some hot water. I'm boiling the water. Different pan, if it's possible. It's going to be different pot. And I let this tomato stay there for about 4 or 5 minutes when the water is boiling. I don't want to cook them, okay? I just want to be sure that you see cracks into the skin. Why? Because then it's going to be easy to remove the skin. That's what I'm going to do right now. So I see these cracks. Meanwhile, this is still doing it. It's very important that I go to the basic. And what is the basic? Is the ingredient. First of all, water. Believe it or not, you cannot just use any type of water. If you live in a city, municipality, most of the times, they put so much garbage, like chlorine and some other stuff that, it's going to be like brewing, or at least cooking in a sewer, in a chemical sewer, your pasta. The pasta is going to cook and boil in their water. So you want to have purified water. One of the best way I suggest you, get like a Berkey or a ProPure or any other filter you like. I'm not trying to push anything here, but get a good purification system that you can have access to pure water, okay? You don't want to use plastic bottled water, okay? That's another scam there, but that's the bottom line. So I get good water in a big stainless steel pot, okay? Stay away from any type of Teflon, please. And if I sound a little bit, dramatic when it comes down to these little tips, I'm not. I just want you, first of all, that you enjoy a good meal. And believe it or not, before even we go into the health part, that's very important, I believe, when you start to add all these extra things, like, for example, what type of pot are you using? Are you using stainless steel, or are you using, for example, the Teflon? The flavor changes. If I use Teflon, you will taste the Teflon, believe it or not. If I use water with chlorine, I will taste it. So that's important. So right now I have these tomatoes that, by the way, they're ready. Listen. Okay. The skin is cracked. So what I'm doing, I'm putting them out. By the way, I'm working with one hand because with the other one I'm holding the microphone. It's kind of scary. This tomato, I'm putting them out from the pot. The skin is easy to remove. And I will throw this water away. I'm not going to use it. Okay. And what I'll do now, I have, meanwhile, my real stainless steel pot where I will put the pasta that will start to cook now, at least warm up, okay? I mean, you want to boil it, sorry, not warm up. So what I do, I put the top on top, of course, and I will use whatever I have with the water. Now, I have these ingredients. The ingredients are, so let's write it down, 4 or 5 big ripe tomatoes, hopefully organic and GMO free. 1 pound, at least for me, 1 beautiful bag pound of the best quality pasta you can find. That's the second more important, maybe the as important ingredient. You cannot just buy any pasta, I tell you. And I'm not trying to put down any type of brands, but the reality is reality. There are some brands out there that they're probably maybe more commercial, but they really don't have the quality. For example, in my pantry, right now in my pantry I have different brands. And I give you my personal advice just from my heart, okay? I'm not trying to push anything. One thing I would stay away is Barilla. Believe it or not, everybody sees on TV, it sucks. I think in Italy, only the illegal aliens eat Barilla, okay? That's the bottom line. It's really, for me, the quality of their grains, it's terrible. And I'm almost sure it's GMO, okay? And bottom line, you taste it. Before even we go in, I said into the health part. Now, I like to find brands that I can find here in the US, of course. There are 2 options, or at least more than 2 options, but one option I like a lot is the Decco, D-E-C-E-C-C-O. Really good brand. I think it's one of the best brands. You can find it, or you used to find it at Walmart. Now probably you can find it at, they don't sell it anymore at Walmart, last time I checked, but you can find it at Safeway, if I well remember. Another one is a very good brand that you can find as Smith's. It's a Pastificio di Martino. Really good stuff, I must tell you. And one of my favorite. So, there's something to consider. So you get a bag of good pasta. Then there is also Trader Joe's. They have a good organic pastas there. No brands, it's just the TJ's brand, but it works really good. So we need 4 or 5 tomatoes. We need 1 pound of pasta. If you want to do spaghetti, it's fine. Otherwise, you can do short pasta. Then you need, of course, basil. Okay? Now, regarding the basil, you can go buy basil, of course, at the shop. They're going to charge you really a lot for a few little leaves. Ridiculous. My suggestion is grow your own basil. It's very simple. Even if you live in a city or in an apartment, there are ways to, with vases, to grow basil. It's very simple. That's what I do. I have a lot of vases of basil. And of course, during this winter time, you dry it, you have always basil. It's a great way. So you need at least a little bunch of basil, not too much, but a little bit of basil. And then you need garlic. When it comes down to garlic, I'm very, very picky. You gotta really watch what you get. Most of the garlic now is imported from China. And probably many of you say, Luca, but what the heck? We want to just cook pasta here. You're giving us all these freaking warnings. Yes, I do. Because unfortunately, it is not just to how you can protect your health. It's also how the flavor is going to be. That's so important. That's why I'm stressing this out. Because if you eat garlic that is all then beat up and probably covered by chemicals and clean up with some other chemicals, and this pasta is going to suck. That's the bottom line. So that's why I want you to get pure and good ingredients. Now, meanwhile, I'm cleaning from the skin. I'm peeling the tomato with my hands. So simple. You can use a knife, of course. And once you did what I did before, the operation is very simple. The skin comes out on its own. Now, I have the pasta, I have the tomatoes, I have the basil, I have the garlic. How much garlic? Probably about 3 or 4 cloves. Not too much, but enough to get the flavor in there. Then, very important ingredients is extra virgin olive oil. Okay, be careful when you buy extra virgin olive oil. There are a lot of frauds out there. Many of olive oil now in Italy too, they've been frauded that they come from, they say it's made in Italy, but technically they're made in Morocco or some other country, and then they mix it together. It's a mess, okay? So just check around. One brand I like, it's Trader Joe's premium extra virgin olive oil, reasonable priced. But look around, just find some olive oil. I like my brother, of course, olive oil, best from Italy. Check him out if you can. Otherwise, send me an email. I'll send you the link. He sells olive oil in the U.S., okay? That's one of the best olive oil I ever found. Anyway, so you need good olive oil. Then we need garlic. And then, just because I like to have a little kick out of that, this is my personal flavor, I also put like little bit of red hot chili. In this case, I have green chili that I grow myself because I like little spicy, okay? Now, to finish all this, we need some sea salt. Even here, very important, you don't want to use the generic salt from hell, okay? Get always something that is real sea salt, natural sea salt, okay? And then, if you want, a little bit of ground pepper, just for final touch. Now, the final dressing would be, of course, cheese. Maybe if I was in Italy right now, I would use Parmigiano cheese, Parmesan. I'm not in Italy, I'm in Arizona, and I don't really have access to, let's say, fresh Parmigiano, okay? Or at least good Parmigiano. So what I do, I have an option. There is a type of cheese that I found, it's kind of interesting, works pretty good. It's a fresh cheese. It's called cacique, or something like that. It looks like a round shape, and is a... you can find it at Walmart, you can find it at Safeway, Smith's, and it's really good, I must tell you. It uses, at least look for the brand that uses, does not use milk with growth hormone. That's really important too, because you don't want to start to drink a freaking pharmacy, or at least eat a pharmacy when you get this cheese. So what we have now, all the ingredients on the side. Right now what I have, of course the water with this stainless steel pot with water. Start to boil, okay? Or at least get in there. We are not there yet, but we are getting. I have another pan, or at least one pan, very low here, that I am going to pour oil, and I put it on low fire, and I put about probably 2 tablespoons about of oil. I want to be sure there is enough oil to cover the whole surface, okay, of the pan. So what I'll do, I put the oil, okay, here we go. Then I have the tomatoes, but before even we go into tomato, I want to have these couple cloves of garlic, okay? Let me get the garlic. Here we go. I like fresh garlic. This is, by the way, the garlic from my vases. And as I said, it's easy to grow garlic. All you gotta do, get some good garlic as a source, like buy some organic garlic, and then divide it, the cloves, and just put them in the dirt, okay? With in the right direction, you will see it. And then you see, give them water, and after not even like what, a month, you start to have, out of each cloves, you have a garlic. Not only you save money, but more important, you get garlic that you know where it's coming from, you know what type of water you're giving it, you know what type of soil you're using to grow it, and it's great. Okay, at that point, garlic is healthy. When you eat garlic, generic garlic that is not organic, most of the time you will get garlic from hell, seriously, full of chemicals and probably, animal or maybe human fishes. Sorry, I don't want to go there since we are cooking now, but that's the reality, okay? So that's the story. So we're getting garlic, okay? Now I got garlic. I got 3 or 4 cloves. You don't need too much, but enough according to your flavor. Now what I do, these garlic cloves, I'm not going to leave them all together. I'm going to cut them at least enough, because in this way the flavor will start to spread out, okay? You want to break them down. Cut them at least in 2 or 3 parts, okay? Now, I'm dropping the garlics into the oil in the pan. Now, must be sure that the temperature is very low, okay? You don't want to burn the garlic, okay? You want just to start to make a little golden. Now, meanwhile, I have on my right side, I have the big pot, stainless steel pot with water start to get close to boiling. On the left, I have the stainless steel pan, big pan with oil, extra virgin olive oil, garlic, very low temperature. At that point, what I'll do, I'll start to put the tomatoes that I'll peel them off just a few seconds ago, a few minutes ago. And I'll chop them just with a knife. You don't need to do anything fancy, okay? I can chop them with a knife, or even just mash them with a wooden spoon, okay? A knife probably it's easy. So, meanwhile, they start to hug each other. You have these beautiful organic tomatoes. They start to hug with the garlic and the extra virgin olive oil. Meanwhile, the temperature of the fire here, it's low enough to start to give them this sort of the flavors out of them, okay? And blending them all together. Let me get a knife. Here we go. Okay. Remember, I'm doing everything with one hand, so forgive me if I'm not exactly, Mr. Cook here today, but I try to explain what's going on, and, the production team is kind of me, Mr. Zanna, and Zanna, okay? So that's it. All right, so I have all this beautiful tomato cut in small pieces, or at least chopped in different pieces, in the pan, and I tell you, it smells already great, okay? So they are very simple ingredients. That's the idea. Now, the secret is we don't want to cook too much this tomato, but we want to cook them enough that they're going to get a sort of, let's say, blending with all together, okay? So, right now, let's say if we go probably 5 minutes, now we can raise the temperature a little bit, okay? Before I was very low, now I'm almost medium, okay? Enough that I keep stirring a little bit. Okay, meanwhile, let me get another little bit of sip of wine, because that really helps the focus here. All right. By the way, guys, just to let you know, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on KTOX, 1340 AM. And I'm broadcasting from my kitchen, and I really enjoy it. This is the hour about love. And as I said, in this show we talk about very serious things. We go from martial law to police state, to the destruction of our republic, to the scumbags in office that they're selling us out to the river, and all these different things. But this is the hour where we want to reconnect with our humanity, have a little fun, and say to all these evil bastards out there that no matter what, we will be happy, we will be fine, and we will give you the middle finger, and tomorrow is another day, and tonight we will go eat beautiful pasta with Luca, and tomorrow we'll fight again, okay? So today we're cooking now this beautiful, let's say classic, but with my own taste, variation recipe of spaghetti with fresh tomato and basil, okay? Now, here we go. Another important thing I want to start to prepare now, it's a colander, okay? because I need to drain the pasta. And I want to be ready when it's time. Now, the pasta is getting there. Now, you will see that these tomato now, since they are in the pan, and they are kind of start to cook a little bit. That's the idea. You're on medium heat. So they are beautiful. They start to change color a little bit, okay? You want to move them a little bit. Be sure that they are squashed with your little wood spoon or whatever you have, okay? So, there we go. You don't want to put the basil yet. The basil is the end, just to let you know, because I have still basil and red hot chili. What I'll do right now, though, in the sauce, I will put a little bit of a pinch of sea salt. And I say a pinch, enough depends on your taste, okay? It's always better to put less. You can always add it than put too much. But put some, okay? Then I have my little extra kick for my pasta. This is, of course, just spaghetti with tomato and basil. But I like a little kick with the red hot chili. In this case, I have it's a green chili, but it's hot, it's beautiful, and it's grown by myself. So what I'll do in this sauce that I'm preparing, I will cut like about probably half chili. Let me do it. All right, that's kind of an interesting angle. So now I put this half of the chili in with the tomato. So really the sauce is going to start to become like almost a new creation. Think about you have about 7 different ingredients that you want to blend them in and make almost a new chemical formula, okay? So you have the tomato, you have the garlic, you have the extra virgin olive oil, and of course you have the little green chili, okay? And with a little bit of sea salt, and I would say also maybe a little bit of ground pepper. It's up to you, okay? Honestly, when I put chili, I don't like pepper, but you could also put a little bit of ground pepper. That's it, okay? So this sauce now is cooking. At least you can see it start to do little bubbles and start to transform and become very much more homogeneous, okay? Start to become a little bit like a sauce, but the trick is you don't want to overcook it. I always, when I see these movies, Italian, American movies or whatever, they cook this freaking sauce for 2 days. I mean, that's ridiculous. First of all, I don't like the flavor, but more important, think about it. Tomato is something fresh. Why you want to destroy like that? Okay? So I cook this probably no more than 10 minutes. That's it. Now, meanwhile, magic trick. The water is boiling. Listen. Okay, this is the time. I get my pasta, whatever pasta you have, and you put it inside. Now, how long? It's a big question. Always everybody asks me, how long should I cook the pasta? Listen, first of all, forget about the instructions or the directions or there is some basic directions. Yes, most of the times they're right, but it's all relative. Depends on the altitude where you are. The pasta may cook a little slower or faster. It's all relative. The best, easiest way, you want to have the idea the pasta must be al dente, okay? That means it's not a rock, it is not like raw, but it is not like floppy, like a chewing gum, okay? And then, of course, you will adjust it to your personal taste. I like it al dente, and I can really throw a fit if I don't have pasta al dente. I probably just skip the meal, okay? Kind of a drama queen when it comes to that. But the point is, the easiest way is to taste it, okay? And remember, though, the trick. When you cook pasta, even when the pasta stop, let's say you remove the pasta or the fire is off, if you leave the pasta in the water, it still will keep cooking. Even when it's out of the water, it will still keep cooking a little bit. So it's like almost an art, okay? To make it really al dente at the right moment, the right way, it's a little practice. But the idea is to remove it just before it gets floppy. Okay, so little firm, but you'll figure it out. As an idea, read the directions to give you a basic idea and always remove at least 60 seconds so you have extra room to make mistakes. Now, the pasta is cooking, at least is getting here ready to cook. It's inside the pot. Now, my tomato sauce, believe it or not, it's ready. I don't want to overcook it. I want to leave a little bit of water. I mean, the idea still is to remove the water out of the tomato, but I don't want it dry, okay? You want these 4 or 5 tomatoes be able to completely hug this pound of pasta. So, and the garlic is not burned, but meanwhile, with this heat we created, we really unleash the flavor. And so, the same story with the red hot chili, in this case, the green chili, okay? Now, what I'll do, I completely turn it off, this tomato sauce, and it will stay in this pot, in this pan, staying warm. At this point, I'm going to add the basil at the end. Why? Because if I put the basil at the beginning, you will burn the basil and you completely destroy it. Instead, putting it at the end, you will capture the flavor and keeping it alive. Now, one thing I didn't do yet, I didn't put salt in the pasta. Something that you want to do carefully. It's important, I believe really it's important, but you don't want to overdo it. So I put a little bit of salt. I don't even measure anymore with spoon or things like that. I go by eye. Put less than you think, because then you can always add it. But the idea is you put the salt. Now, in a little bit, normally this pasta may cook in about 7 minutes, something like that. What I do, I get a fork, and I'm going to taste it. And I'll check it out. Now, since the pasta is cooking and the tomato, they are sitting and relaxing, I'm going to play a song for you guys and girls, and also a little sponsor. By the way, talking about sponsor, if you want to support the show, first of all, support K-Talks, because I think really deserves the medal just to keep me on the air, thinking about what topics I talk here normally. And also, of course, if you want to support myself, very simple, go to zanna.us, zanna.us, and for just 99 cents, you can download any of my songs. Yes, not even the price of a glass of water, okay? And I appreciate it, because that's the way we can keep this show free and keep it on the air. Now, let me get a little break, and I'll talk to you soon, and we go finish up this great recipe of spaghetti with fresh organic tomatoes and basil. And you're listening to Luca Zanna on Love, Guns, and Freedom. Ciao. Don't go away.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
Okay, guys, the pasta, it's almost ready. You're back on the air with me, Luca Zanna, Love, Guns, and Freedom. Final hour, final segment. This is the hour about love, and I'm sharing with you this incredible recipe of spaghetti with organic tomato and basil. As simple as it gets, okay? And since maybe you're just tuning in right now, by the way, if you want to find the recipe, I will also post it on www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Now let me taste it. It's still not cooked, but the salt is okay. That's what I was saying before. Taste it, to be sure it's al dente, and also to be sure you don't put too much salt. Now, the pasta is getting there. Meanwhile, I have here this beautiful pan with this tomato that I already cooked. They are fresh tomatoes, as I said before, with garlic, basil, a little bit of green chili in this case. Now, I have the final ingredients that I will add at the end. In this case, normally I said in this pasta, it would be common if you were in Italy to use Parmesan. It's very hard to find a real authentic Parmesan. Sorry, a little spicy. But, you gotta adapt. That's what I do. After all, I live here in Arizona and I enjoy it, everything. And I'm going always to find different ways to personalize my pasta. One way I really like, as I said before, this fresh cheese. It's It's like a round shaped. It's called kachik or something like that. And I will post probably a photo. There are different brands. Some sort of a Mexican cheese, fresh cheese, but it's good. I'm telling you. Normally, I'm not really into Mexican food, but this is good. And you can pretty much break it down with a fork or with knife in small pieces. You don't even need to have the grater. You can break it in very small pieces. Okay, and I prepare it on the side. When you buy this one, normally most of these brands, they have this cheese that is, as I said before, growth hormone free. That's really important. It is a better quality of cheese without the extra hormones anyway the cows they should have. Okay, that's the idea. So I got this cheese that I will put at the end. Now the pasta is pretty much almost ready to go. I can start to see it, by the way. I know my pasta. I see it on site. But just because I'll double check it, it's ready. Remember, this pasta is going to keep cooking for another minute at least in the pan. So you don't want it to have it too cooked, okay? I'll just add a little bit of salt, just because now I realize that maybe it needs a little extra more. So now I'll do something very courageous. I will use one hand to move the pot into the sink while I'm holding the microphone and start to, you hear the water? Drain the pasta. Here we go. Now, in this pasta, I don't need water because there's already enough water from the tomato. Not much, but the sauce is good. I'm pouring the pasta now, drained pasta, into the pan where the tomatoes are. There we go. Now, what I'll do, I got this pan, and I'll put it back on the fire in low temperature, okay, but enough to keep warming it for probably another 60 seconds, because what I'm doing, I am stirring the pasta in the tomato. This is very important because when you have the pasta in the pan now with the tomato and the olive oil that we put together before and the garlic, blah, 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 the flavor, they really start to hug each other, okay? Final touch, I'm going to put this beautiful cheese that I prepared before, okay? And just to dress it up, why not a couple of extra leaves of basil, okay? Little couple extra leaves of basil. At the end, I let sit the pasta for at least 10 minutes. People say, oh, I want it hot. You know what? When the pasta is too hot, you're not going to be able to taste the flavor. It's too hot. Let it sit for 5 minutes. Maybe 10 is too much, okay? 5. That you're going to read this pasta warm, but with all the flavor, you give them the opportunity to the flavors to really blend in together. That's a very important little trick. Did you ever notice that normally the pasta the day after is always tastes a little better? Of course, if you do creepy pasta, it's never going to taste better. But if you do a good pasta the day after, it's going to taste even better because the flavor with the pasta and the sauce is really going to blend in. That's an important trick, okay? So here we go. For today, that was it. That was the pasta recipes of the day. And thank you, Michael from Kingman, to give me the opportunity to share it, since you asked for it. And we go a little break, and then we go back with the final part of today's show, okay? Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Ciao.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
All right, guys, this is Luca Zanna.